Hestia, in the lofty temples of all immortal gods and in the homes of those who walk on earth, you alone have won the eternal seat, the most ancient honor with great rewards and respect. For without you, mortals hold no banquet. We begin by pouring honey-sweet wine first and last to you. Notice in this ancient prayer that dates back to the 7th century BC, how it's Hestia, not any other god, not even Zeus himself, to whom the mortals must make their first and last offerings. Impressive, and yet, she's a goddess most of us know very little about. Although firstborn of the Olympian gods, she's seldom depicted in Greek art and only passing references are made to her in ancient literature. It seems she's barely there, relegated to the outskirts of mythology, while the flashier gods take center stage. Even today there's arguments as to whether or not she should even be included in the prestigious roll call of the 12 gods on Mount Olympus, and most omit her entirely in favor of the god Dionysus. Seeing that she was once so highly regarded, why has she become so mysterious? Who is Hestia? Let's start by looking at the little we do know about her. As mentioned before, she's goddess of the hearth and home, and her main role is to protect the family and, by extension, the entire community. Another duty includes the tending of the sacred hearth, the place of fire, located within the central hall of the gods on Mount Olympus, high above the clouds. She's one of the 3 virgin goddesses alongside Athena and Artemis. It might seem contradictory that she's goddess of the family and home, although she never married or never had any children. But if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Without obligations to a family of her own, she has more time to devote in supporting others. She's Zeus's oldest sister and is eldest of the first Olympian gods born from the Titans Rhea and Cronus. Her father Cronus was frightened that his divine children would one day overthrow him, and so he gobbled them down one by one. First Hestia, then Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, all except for Zeus, the youngest, who was hidden by his mother. I won't go into all the details here, as I want to save this myth for a future video, but Zeus eventually helps free his siblings who are trapped within their father's belly, including his sister Hestia. This is, unfortunately, just about all we know. She doesn't really have any myths of her own, and yet, if you pay close attention, she is there in the form of the hearth. The name for the goddess Hestia and the word for hearth are the same in the Greek language, by the way. Hearth, of course, referring to the fireplace that surrounds and houses the fire within. I bring this up because just about everything in Greek mythology, even inanimate objects, seem to possess a distinct spiritual essence. So it wouldn't have seemed strange to a Greek that a fireplace and its flames would be home to a living goddess. Hestia and her hearth held profound spiritual importance for the Greeks, but she also played a very practical role within their daily lives as well. Imagine, if you will, an Athenian family living at around 500 BC. Around the hearth, there would have been cooking and other household chores carried out. The family would have been kept safe and warm during the winter, and of course, daily offerings would have been made to Hestia as well as the other household gods. In other words, the hearth was an indispensable focal point of family life. Keep in mind that not all hearths served the same purpose, and there were often multiple hearths within a household. Some served the purpose of cooking and were built against a wall, but many others were portable, such as this metal brazier, and could be set up anywhere within the home. In addition to the private hearth, each state, city, or village in ancient Greece had its own civic hearth, located within a structure known as the prytaneum, which was the local seat of government. This hearth was adapted from a much earlier Mycenaean structure known as a megaron, a great hall within the king's palace where the central hearth was kept burning. Edith Hamilton wrote, "Each city had a public hearth sacred to Hestia, where the fire was never allowed to go out. If a colony was to be founded, the colonists carried with them coals from the hearth of the mother city, with which to kindle the fire on the new city's hearth." It's believed that each and every household hearth was lit from just such a communal fire, and so Hestia's influence was massive, encompassing both the microcosm of family life and the macrocosm of the state. The public hearth also provided the space around which festivals brought the members of the community together in solidarity. Speaking of which, the torches of the ancient Olympic Games were lit from Hestia's sacred hearth located in Olympia, from where it's still lit in today's ceremonies. If Hestia's flame were to be extinguished, either accidentally or through negligence, it was viewed as a failure of domestic and religious care for the family and the group, and was usually taken as a very bad omen. But her hearth might be deliberately extinguished and relit when needed in special circumstances, but this would always be accompanied by a series of specific rituals. Hestia is also often referred to as the goddess of hospitality, and her hearth was a place where refuge, tolerance, and comfort could be sought by the weary traveler. Like in the Odyssey, when Odysseus is shipwrecked and ends up drifting to the remote island of the Phaeacians, a people he's never encountered before. He first meets the Princess Nausicaa, who is initially frightened by his appearance, but soon provides him with clothes and shows him the way to the palace. There he finds the queen performing her domestic duties near the hearth, and he kneels down and clasps her knees in a traditional gesture of supplication. He explains his predicament, how all his men have tragically died, how he's been lost at sea and kept by the gods from returning home to his wife and son. He's hungry, thirsty, utterly exhausted from his journeys, and desperate to go home. The king and his queen, acting according to the gods' rules of hospitality known as xenia, graciously offer Odysseus a place at their hearth, food and wine, water for washing, a comfortable bed, and a ship to return him to his family. The French historian Jean-Pierre Vernant wrote, "The hearth, the meal, the food also have the property of opening the domestic circle to those who are not members of the family, of enrolling them in the family community. The suppliant, hunted from his home and wandering abroad, crouches at the hearth when he seeks to enter a new group in order to recover the social and religious roots he has lost." This may be slightly off topic, but as an American, talking about Hestia makes me think of the Statue of Liberty, a figure who looks very much like a Greek goddess, and who holds a torch in her hand with a flame that symbolizes hospitality, Hestia's flame, if you will, welcoming with open arms those who are in need. I'd like to share the last lines of the poem found on the base of the statue, because I think they embody the spirit of Hestia perfectly. "Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp," cries she with silent lips. "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." Thanks to those of you out there who voted on this video topic. If you'd like to make a suggestion for my next video, simply leave me a comment down below. And in the meantime, why not have a look at one of my other videos? As always, thank you so much for watching.